Okay, so today we are going to be interviewing MaryAnn. She is a beta reader for the Tapestry of Worlds White Raven Awakens book. And so, what beta readers, we are selected to pre read the book and give feedback to the author and kind of answer a series of questions, let them know how it flowed, what our thoughts were, what we think could be changed to make it easier. So, beta readers really know the story front and back and sideways. So I thought that we could interview a beta reader and just hear what they had to say about the book. It's almost like book club, but more intimate and exclusive because we are personally tied to these books. So, how are you doing today, Marianne?
Doing fine, and thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. Okay, so question number one. What was your overall take on the book? Did it make you happy, sad, intrigued?
Well, first off, I am not a big fan of this genre,
Mhm.
mainly because I think I read so much of it in the 80s and 90s, and a lot of it is very formulaic. And so when I read this book, I was pleasantly surprised.
Really?
It's not formula at all, and so I was very intrigued how she was going to merge all of these different topics together without sounding forced or as the usual formula type of,
Mhm.
book like this. And so that was my overall big impression, that the transition was very good,
Mhm.
and it was explained very well to the reader. So I was pleasantly surprised when I read this book. This is not your usual fare that you find in this or several other genres too.
Absolutely. That's something that I discussed with Hadley in her interview was that it was so versatile and and multifaceted, and that she just pulled it all together into one story. And you can totally not be into the apocalypse or not be into magic, but the story flows so easily that even if you're not into it, you're still interested because of this book.
Yeah, and it's very she gives you a good picture of what's
Hmm.
going on.
Absolutely.
I felt like I'm reading the book and I'm just picturing it like a movie in my mind.
Hmm.
I can see these characters, and as I said, when I saw all these different elements, I'm like, oh gosh, I don't I've rarely seen all of these elements come in and make
Yes.
sense in a story. And it did.
It did. She did a great job because I mean, you have, you know, not the zombie apocalypse, but an
Yes.
apocalypse or collapse of civilization, and you have magic and you have Bigfoot and I mean, you just have all these elements. You're just like, this is going to be crazy until you read the book and she pulls it all together and it flows and you're just like,
Yeah.
how she's
One
very
one
talented.
one other thing I noticed right from the start, in the very beginning, like she gives you this map, and I'm looking at this and the mixture of, true, real, what's happening now with, the fantasy genre. That map is just spot on about the places that will probably be underwater in 50 years,
Hmm.
and lo and behold, we do have a plague upon us right now. So I like that mixture of, real, for real world stuff with a story.
I agree completely. She just did such a great job. So, what was your favorite part of the book?
Mm. Well, I guess I'm a little bit prejudiced and personal here. I love I love that depiction of them, going along the river until they found a safe place, and that description of that swampy area, because
Hmm.
that's where I'm from. and,
Yes.
it's, and again, it's if you're writing about a place someone is from, you got to know your stuff. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She described it so beautifully. And so I actually did a series of book readings for her where I read just a portion of the book and recorded it, to get it out there. And
Mhm.
that's actually one of the pieces that we chose because or one of the pieces that the beta readers chose because it was such a beautiful depiction of that area. And
She gives you that
yeah.
feel of, when you're down there in those areas, and you hear something or you see something slip under the water, and there's that blurring of, what is it, or was it
Hmm.
just my intuition, or am I imagining this? And she gives you that feel because, yeah, in real life that happens.
Yes,
what
yes.
what did I see looking at me over there?
Hmm. Oh yeah, you don't ever feel alone in that area of the United States.
No.
No,
But
you
it's
definitely
beautiful.
don't.
There's a beauty to it,
There is. It's absolutely, I think that that area is just absolutely beautiful. But when you are out on the water is creepy. You can't see
Yeah,
through it. I mean, you
yeah.
constantly feel like there's something under there about to get you. So, what was your least favorite part of the book?
Um, okay, the Count.
He is so unpopular. That is
He's so
interesting.
slimy.
He is, yes.
And I guess, yeah, I just don't like him. And I kept, I'm reading it and I'm saying out loud, "Run, Erica, run."
Yes.
he's, he's a slimy narcissist.
Yes, he's just you wanna just kinda smack her upside the head and be like, "Okay, snap out of whatever spell he's got you under."
Yes, yes.
Um
Or, slap him and grab her by the hand and drag her out.
Yes. Um,
He was my
I
least favorite.
yeah, I actually got that, same review from the other beta reader, so that's kind of that's a typical thing, but I know that, he had an effect on her, so
Yeah,
who was
I'm
you?
worried about her.
That's very maternal of you, honestly. We're all very protective of Erica because she's such a great character. Speaking of that, who was your favorite character?
Okay. All right. Ransom is my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He's um he's a complex character. I want to know more about him
Mhm.
because he's it's I want to know how his mind works because he is complex. He has a situation where he can't be her knight in shining armor right now.
Mhm.
And of course, she's realizing that she has to be her knight in shining armor.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yeah.
again, I lived that situation,
Mhm.
and it takes a lot of growing in a relationship to realize that some things come first.
Mhm.
But yet, he made all these plans for her to keep her safe, and he doesn't come off as I'm Mr. Perfect, because at one point he says, I think it's in the instructions, this, I hope it works out this way for you, but here's what I
Mhm.
planned. And I just hope that, I don't know, I hope they get through this without her feeling that he's abandoned her, because I don't think
Mhm.
he has.
Right.
And I don't want her to feel that way because, I mean, she's going through horrendous things.
Mhm.
And it's very easy to slip there. That, oh, he
Yeah.
doesn't care about me. He's
To feel
never.
that resentment for him not being there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So, and I don't, he's not like that. No, Erica, he's not like that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm team Felix, so that's an interesting
Okay.
observation
Well,
that you had though.
well, yeah. And now, okay, when we first meet Felix, I'm thinking there's no redeeming qualities to this guy.
Yes,
There's
yes.
no way she's going to convince me that it's explained. No, but he does explain it.
Mhm.
And okay, again, he's someone that I want to know more about,
Right.
but I don't. Okay, I mean, they've had past life together.
Mhm.
So I don't think that in this life she has to give up ransom for him.
Right.
She can still, I mean, there's lots of different types of relationships.
Mhm.
And yeah, her and Felix have a lot of story that they need to still go through.
Mhm.
They need to, a lot of life that they need to go through. But I don't think it has to be at the expense of ransom.
I do agree with
Okay,
that.
so like ransom.
Ransom, Team Ransom for you. Who is your least favorite
Now,
character?
if she can make ransom a Marine Force Recon. No, all right, stop, MaryAnn.
You have goals. I also tell her how to write the story. I've messaged her and I'm like, hey, can you make this character talk and make them like morph into a man and be a man in a character? That'd be great. And she's just like, thank you, Lauren, for your input. I'm trying to write this story for her, and I know whatever she comes up with is going to be great. But also, I have
Yeah.
requests, ma'am. Who is your least favorite character?
Uh, I'm sorry, was that
Who is your least
my
favorite
least
character?
favorite?
Yes, yeah.
My least favorite is the Count.
Oh, that's all right. See, Brother Timothy for me was my least favorite, just because he, I guess, triggers me
Yeah.
to flashbacks to some abusive relationship. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was smarmy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He definitely ranks up there. Um, but having survived some bad situations,
Mhm.
I think Erica just slam dunk him. She could just slap him silly.
It's
But
true. Eventually she could for sure. Um,
yeah.
so if you could meet one of the characters in real life, who would it be and why? I think we already know the answer to this, but go ahead.
No, I'm too old for him. No, no.
Oh,
I would like to meet Erica. I really would. She's a strong lady. She's a smart lady.
mhm,
She's still learning her powers, but she knows she has it,
mhm.
and she uses it for the right reasons. And I don't know. She's just I like Erica Lily. She's
Yes.
I'd like to have coffee with her.
Yes, yes, or just, tell her to stay away from the count. Um,
Oh yeah, that and I think that's why I disliked him the most is because she doesn't see his danger.
mhm. Yeah.
Whereas, the priest, he knows that's dangerous.
He is smarmy. Smarmy's the word for him. What characters would you like to see more of? Or what character?
I would, okay, I would like to see more of Velvet.
Yes, me too. That's my favorite character, actually.
Yeah, um, that's because we know a bit about her. And, as the book progresses, we learn a lot more about her. But I think, oh, there's a lot to scratch that surface with.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yes. She needs
yeah,
her own series.
yeah. And
Mhm.
I have a lot of questions about when she meets Erica
Mhm.
at the ball. Um, was she saying the things she did because she was at the ball
Mhm.
or not?
Yes.
I just,
There
um,
needs to be some follow-up. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. There's more to her game.
Yes. So what part of the story would you like to see in future books? Like for instance, Bigfoot, magic, vampires, prepper living, etc.
I would like to see more about the place that the Bigfoot plays.
Okay.
I mean, because there are these guardian figures,
Yes.
and not just to be nice to people, but to guard, the
Mhm.
world, nature,
Right.
whatever. And I think they're going to have a big part to play in this story. So
Mhm.
I would, yeah, I'd
Absolutely.
like to see more of there.
I know that they will be featured more prominently in the later books, so that's good news for you. But it's always good to hear, that that is so well received because
Yeah,
that's iffy, you know?
and when they show up, it's not like, okay, there are bad guys and there are good guys, but
Mhm.
it's not just this or that in this story. This story is complex.
Yes.
And so, they're on the peripheral, but they're guardians.
Mhm. Yes.
That
I
would
I do love
really,
their role as guardians.
yeah, silly
Uh,
people are messing things up. Now let's make sure they don't mess up the whole world.
yeah, the whole universe. Really.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love this question and I'm interested to see what you have to say. If you were making a movie of this book, who would you cast as the main characters? Or who comes to mind whenever you think of certain characters?
Unfortunately, I am deficient here because I am a lot older than you think.
It can be anyone that you like for me, Erica, I don't know why, but I see her as like Mila Kunis.
Well, you see, I don't know a lot of modern names of
Mhm.
people. I look at a lot of movies. I just
Yes.
never bothered with their names, okay?
I'm really bad about names too, about
Yeah.
celebrity names and star names and all of that. So, I go
But
really
you
like, I can't think of anyone for Ransom. I did tell, the last, interview, I said that, for Brother Timothy, it would have to be someone, short and pudgy and smarmy, just a really icky character, you
yeah, like
know?
some of these people you see indicted on the news.
Yes, one of those for sure.
This person was caught embezzling from the church. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I picture him as,
yes.
this smiling face saying, "Send your dollars in." And I'm like, yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
definitely yeah. And then for Felix, I picture him as, just this tall, dark, and handsome
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
character, and,
Mm.
there's quite a few handsome versions of those around Hollywood we could use, so
Yeah, Felix, I picture him kind of like, Canal Reeves.
Oh, yes. Ooh, he would be the perfect Felix. Oh my gosh.
Yes, and, I wanna be on the set.
The beta readers we have a, director's liberty privilege or whatever, you know?
Erica is, like I say, I'm trying to think offhand, but, like, um, maybe, and I know that she would be too old to take the part, but like a more softer Angelica Houston,
Ooh, yes. Yeah.
that kind of character.
I agree. Um,
And
yeah.
then and then Ransom, whatever heartthrob is popular.
And it's like I have a hard time casting him because he's this like tall, well-muscled Korean man and I'm just like nobody comes to mind really, and
Yeah, because Ransom can't have a lot of arrogance with him.
mhm.
That he can't be played as just, this good-looking macho guy. No, 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 no. He's a stable guy.
Mhm. Yes, he's definitely a good and steady, loyal man, so you want him and Erica to work out, but there just seems to be,
A lot of
trouble on the horizon,
Yeah,
so
a lot of circumstances.
Mhm.
Plagues, wars,
Just
vampires, yeah.
yeah. So which of the places in the book would you most like to visit?
Oh, I wanna visit that river and their safe house, where their safe house was.
Mhm. I figured you would say that. Does the book remind you of any other writers that you've read?
Um, okay. It's obvious I'm a fan now, I really am. I see this, the way it evolves. not that the book was overly long, but I see this a lot like if you've ever read The Witching Hour by Anne Rice,
Mhm. I
because
have
she
not.
explains a lot. Now, a lot of people have read the Vampire Chronicles, and I read through those too, and they
Mhm.
were good. My favorite is The Witching Hour because
Mm.
it describes generations of strong women.
Ooh, I love it. I'm writing
And
that down right now. I'm not gonna lie.
that's the first one is The Witching Hour, and then it goes into two other books. But you're introduced to these characters, and you think, oh, is this going to be the same stereotype witchy book? No,
Yeah.
it's not. They're individuals. They're unique. They're nobody's stereotype. So,
I love that. I love
and
that.
you don't realize how long you've been reading.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I'm definitely gonna check that out. And that's a lot like, Hadley's book. That's the same way. She has strong female characters. There's strong male characters too. But really it's like,
Not in a patronizing way, or oh, this is, she's supposed to be superwoman.
mhm.
No, they're real people.
Yeah, real people, and everybody has to band together and find their inner strength and get through this awful time.
Yeah, yeah.
So we already discussed pretty much how original and unique this book was. That was my next question, but we covered that. So last question. Pretend you're a famous author writing a blurb for the back cover of the book. What would you say?
Oh, let's see. I would say it's surprisingly different and unexpected. A cohesive story that takes you on an adventurous ride.
That's true.
It's not, like some books are like roller coasters. They have real highs and real lows.
Hmm.
This is just a fun, adventurous ride. Let's get in the car and see where we go.
Yes. And, I was hooked from the first few pages, but it was like,
Yeah.
probably the first, I read the first chapter and then it was like, because I have two little boys and I'm doing a million things. And so I'd go, run around and come back and try to read. And it was like after the second and third chapter, I'm like, okay, y'all go make your own dinner. I have to sit here and finish this
Uh-huh.
right now. It grips you and it would not let go until you finish the book. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. That was that's great feedback on this book. And I think that Hadley's going to be, well, she's probably going to cry. I know she cried over the last interview. So this will
Oh,
probably make her cry happy tears to hear that.
no, I don't want her to
Um,
cry. I want her to just write.
yes. Well, I think it motivates her to keep doing what she's doing because,
Oh, yeah.
anyone knows, especially creative people, that you get inside your head and then you just can't see how great you are at what you do. And so she needs to hear
Mhm.
this from us. So she will keep giving us books to be addicted to.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you again for coming on.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
All
It's
right.
been a
Thank
pleasure.
you. When global pandemic strikes, Erica Lilly and her friends learn that even if you are weaving magic to save the world, there are still consequences. Stripped of their sole spirit guardian by the malevolent White Queen, the group is glamored into forgetting what really happened the night that they were used to open one of the 9 Ragnarok gates. Under the weight of the ensuing pandemic, a doomsday cult puts a bounty out on the heads of government officials and law enforcement, pushing the limits of average citizens into societal collapse. Hunted by the cult's leader, Brother Timothy, Erica must place her trust in the mysterious stranger Felix as they together work to stop the unspeakable evil unleashed upon the world of man. Join Erica and her friends, accompanied by her 2 dogs, Hansel and Gretel, as they embark in the ultimate fight for survival, while reality as they know it crumbles around them.